Breast cancer cells have a hard time surviving when you eat these 9 specific foods. Hey, Dr. Amy here, and as an 8-year cancer survivor, I know how challenging nutrition advice can be after cancer. So whether you've just been diagnosed, in treatment, or even years out from your diagnosis, this video is for you. These aren't just any foods. Research shows that they contain specific compounds that help target breast cancer cells. This is going to help prevent a recurrence or help prevent progression. The sooner you start including these foods into your diet, the faster your body can fight back naturally. Starting with number 1, and this one might surprise you. Green tea specifically targets cancer cells. The compound that is responsible is EGCG, and here's what makes it incredible. It can literally seek out and destroy breast cancer cells while leaving your healthy cells untouched. When I was going through my own stage 3 diagnosis, I had no idea that green tea had such a powerful compound. This simple beverage would become one of my most powerful allies. Not only did it help combat the crushing exhaustion that I was experiencing, but it helped me fight off cancer cells. Once I knew, I gave my body that specific cancer-fighting compound almost every day. The literature is actually staggering. Women who consistently drink green tea have a 30% lower risk of breast cancer recurrence. But here's the mistake almost everybody makes. They pour boiling water directly over the tea leaves. This actually kills 85% of the beneficial compounds. You want your water to be around 80 degrees, so let it cool for 2 to 3 minutes before pouring it over your tea leaves. What's particularly fascinating about green tea is how it works on a molecular level. The EGCG actually blocks the formation of new cancer cell vessels that prevent it from growing. This is called angiogenesis. This entire area of anti-angiogenesis, stopping the new formation of blood vessels from cancer cells, well, this is a very promising area of cancer research. Think of it as cutting off the tumor food supply. Okay, but on to number 2, and this one could make a huge impact in saving your life. Cruciferous vegetables, things like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. They contain a powerful compound called sulforaphane. This literally sends a death signal to cancer cells. But here's what's incredible. It only targets cancer cells, cells that are unhealthy or abnormal, and it leaves healthy cells alone. I often tell my patients that these vegetables contain compounds that are having a direct conversation with your cancer cells. Research shows that women who eat cruciferous vegetables at least 3 times a week, well, they have a significantly lower risk of breast cancer. One breast cancer survivor that I work with inside the Cancer Freedom Program, she really had a passionate hatred towards broccoli. She told me she'd rather skip a meal than eat that. But we worked together to find creative ways to include more cruciferous vegetables in her diet. I mean, after all, she needed to do this. Her life depended on it. We made things like cauliflower rice. We roasted Brussels sprouts with garlic and Parmesan. Within weeks, she noticed a dramatic improvement in her energy level. Her oncologists were amazed because her lab markers were dramatically improving. But here's the preparation that most people don't know about. Light steaming actually increases the bioavailability of sulforaphane by about 300%. This is compared to eating them raw. The perfect method is to steam them until they're bright green with a slight crunch. Just 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, but on to number 3, and this one tastes like dessert while fighting cancer. Berries. Berries are packed with anthocyanins. These are compounds that have been shown in multiple studies to suffocate breast cancer cells. It's going to be cutting off the cancer cell's blood supply. The beauty of berries is their versatility. You can add them to smoothies or yogurt or just eat them as a snack. But here's what truly shocked me during my own doctorate research. Women who consistently ate berries, they have lower inflammatory markers associated with cancer growth and it happens in as quickly as 8 weeks. As someone who studies cancer research and cancer treatment extensively, I'm always impressed how natural compounds that are right in front of us can have such a dramatic impact on your health. Berries don't just taste amazing, they actually work to protect your cells from damage every single day. But here's an insider tip to save money while maximizing your benefits. Frozen berries are just as beneficial as fresh ones, sometimes even more so. The freezing process actually breaks down cell walls. This makes antioxidants more available to your body. This is why frozen berries blended in a smoothie release their color so readily. Okay, but that brings us to number 4, fatty fish. This one literally changed everything for me. Salmon, sardines, mackerel, they contain critical omega-3 fatty acids. This is creating an anti-cancer environment inside your body. This makes it virtually impossible for cancer cells to thrive. And the research on this is mind-blowing. Women with higher omega-3 blood levels actually have a 32% reduction in their risk of a breast cancer recurrence. During my own treatment, I made sure to include fatty fish at least 2 times per week. Not only did it help me with the joint pain I was experiencing, but it gave me the cancer-fighting properties that I needed to fight back. But if you don't eat fish or seafood, don't panic. Algae-based omega-3 supplements are a good alternative. The key here is consistency. Your body needs a steady supply of these healthy fats to give you protection. But here's what your doctor hasn't told you. Wild-caught fish generally have 50% higher amounts of omega-3s. That's compared to farmed fish. Smaller fish like sardines or anchovies, they also tend to have lower levels of mercury while still having those high levels of omega-3. I often recommend these to my patients as the safest and most cost-effective option. Okay, but on to number 5. Turmeric. This contains what I call nature's most powerful anti-cancer compound. Curcumin works by blocking multiple pathways that cancer cells use to grow. It's like putting roadblocks up at every turn. But here's the problem that stumps most people. Curcumin's actually poorly absorbed on its own, so most people get almost no benefit. The solution is simple, but it's crucial. Combining black pepper increases the absorption of curcumin by 2,000%. That's not a typo, 2,000%. In my practice, I've seen patients who consistently lower their inflammatory markers if they consistently include turmeric or curcumin in their diet. One woman that I work with, she consistently added a turmeric latte to her morning routine, and within 6 weeks, her inflammatory markers were down. She had a significant improvement in her joint pain and her overall energy levels. But here's my secret weapon. Fresh turmeric root is even more powerful than the dried powder. You can grate it into a smoothie or stir fries or brew it as a tea. But the fresh root has a more complex flavor profile, but it also contains additional benefits that are often lost in that drying process to get to the powder. Okay, but moving on to number 6. This is a combination of what I call the dynamic duo of cancer fighting, garlic and onions. This contains organosulfur compounds. This has been shown to slow the growth of breast cancer cells by 40%. This actually enhances the effectiveness of conventional treatment. The research from the European Perspective Investigation into Cancer followed 300,000 women and looked at this exact question. They found that women that ate more garlic and onions had a lower risk of breast cancer. But this protective effect, it was dose dependent. This means that more consumption provided a higher benefit. When I'm working with cancer survivors and thrivers, I always emphasize the benefits of these 2 foods. If you make garlic and onions a regular part of your diet, well, then you're going to consistently lower your risk of breast cancer or recurrence. But here's a preparation trick that actually multiplies the benefit. You need to crush or chop your garlic and let it sit for about 10 minutes before you cook it. This allows the enzymes to convert into the form that's responsible for cancer fighting. But heat damages this enzyme. So if you don't wait, then it could be all for naught. Okay, but on to number 7. Leafy greens. This discovery during my own cancer journey was life-changing. Spinach, kale, Swiss chard, They're rich in folate. They also contain carotenoids and antioxidants. This literally repairs cellular DNA damage. This is what's going to support healthy cell division. These nutrients are particularly crucial in hormone-sensitive breast cancer. During my stage 3 cancer treatment, I was struggling with crushing fatigue. It made me feel like I was living in slow motion. But adding more leafy greens into my diet, either through salads or smoothies or sautéing, well, this dramatically improved my energy. This deeply supported my body's recovery process. The folate in these vegetables is critical for cellular DNA repair, and that is needed for preventing cancer recurrence. Research shows that women with a higher intake of folate have about a 25% reduction in breast cancer recurrence, particularly among those who also limit their alcohol consumption. These two work synergistically to protect on a cellular level. But here's something that will change how you shop for greens. Dark leafy greens are excellent sources of chlorophyll. This has its own anti-cancer properties. The deeper the dark green color, the more chlorophyll it contains. This is why I always tell my patients to pick the darkest green vegetables you can find. Okay, but moving on to number 8, mushrooms. This might be nature's most underrated immune booster. They contain beta-glucan and other compounds that supercharge your immune system. This has a direct anti-cancer effect. These compounds help your immune system to better detect and eliminate abnormal cells. In traditional medicine, mushrooms have been used for centuries to support cancer treatment. Modern medicine has validated many of these traditional uses. Certain mushrooms can slow cancer cell growth and enhance the effect of conventional treatment. I often recommend that cancer survivors and thrivers, they include mushrooms in their weekly diet. You can saute them, add them to a soup, or even supplement. These powerful fungi provide ongoing immune support 24/7. Okay, but on to number 9. Pomegranates. This is a fruit that's a cancer cell assassin. These are compounds that have been shown in multiple studies to reduce the risk of breast cancer progression. It reduces the risk of metastases by about 87%. This works by interfering with the tumor's blood supply, which it desperately needs to continue its growth. The research is particularly compelling in hormone-sensitive breast cancer. Studies show that pomegranate actually blocks estrogen production. This is going to reduce the risk of hormone-sensitive breast cancer cells from growing. One woman I work with inside the Cancer Freedom Program, she originally found pomegranate to be too tart, so she just avoided it completely. But we experimented with adding pomegranate seeds to her salads, or blending it into a smoothie, or diluting the pomegranate juice with water. Now she's been including it in her diet for over 2 years. She reports excellent energy and she has clean follow-up scans. But here's an option that might surprise you. Pure pomegranate juice is actually more concentrated than the seeds. But make sure it's 100% pomegranate juice, no sugar added. Okay, so now that you know these 9 foods that help kill breast cancer cells, the next thing you need to know are what foods to avoid. Some of these foods might shock you because there are only very few select foods that have been consistently linked to an increased risk of cancer. So if you eliminate these foods, you're dramatically lowering your risk. That's exactly why I'm gonna link up this next video for you here. Click the link here and I'll see you in the next video.